Hello and welcome to Fantasy Football by Ben. Today, I'll be doing my bold predictions for Week 14. It might be the playoffs for you, it might not be. Hopefully, I can help you make some changes to your lineup or just in general see if my bold predictions are right. Alright, so I recap every week on how I did last week on my bold predictions. And so I'll be doing the recap and then I'll be telling you my bold predictions for Week 14. So to recap Week 13's bold predictions, as of right now, it's Tuesday, so Ryan Tannehill, there's still a game today. So Ryan Tannehill was my bold prediction for Week 13. And as of right now, he's QB4 on the week. And Lamar Jackson and Andy Dalton still haven't played yet, so obviously they could pass him, but it would have to be both of them to pass him for him not to be a top 5 QB this week. And so that prediction most likely will come true. And my running back bold prediction. So if you didn't know, I do quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, defense of predictions. And my running back prediction was Josh Jacobs would finish as the top scoring running back, and he didn't even play, so that one didn't come true. And then my wide receiver prediction, Cooper Kupp had a pretty good day. I mean, he had a way better game than he had last week, where he had 2 for 41. But he didn't finish inside the top 10, so my bold prediction didn't come true. My tight end prediction was that Jordan Reed would be a top 5 scoring tight end, and he did not finish as a top 5 scoring tight end. He did catch a touchdown late in the game, and that did help his fantasy day. So if he played him, it was pretty solid, but he wasn't like a top 5 scoring tight end this week. And my defense of prediction was that the Colts would finish as the top scoring defense, and they did not. They scored 10 points, which is pretty solid, so can't be mad at that. And they were the number 9 this week, as of right now. So pretty solid this week. That was my bold predictions for last week, Week 13. For my quarterback prediction for Week 14, I did Ben Roethlisberger, and I predicted that he will finish as a top 10 quarterback in this week. In the last 5 weeks, he's thrown 42, 46, 46, 51, and 53 passes. He will finish as a top 10 quarterback this week. They're going up against the Bills, who haven't been great against QBs this year. And I do think that the Steelers' loss to Washington just ignited that offense. And I do think this could be a really big week for Big Ben. And I do think that he could throw potentially over 50 passes again for 3 straight weeks. For my running back prediction, I'm going to go with a guy that has not really ran the ball a whole lot in the last 2 weeks, and he's been hurt before that. I mean, Raheem Mostert, I think that he could be a really, really good back against even a tougher matchup this week, which Washington is a top 5 defense against the run. And, I mean, the Steelers looked really bad against the run, or against Washington last week, running the ball. But I do think that if there's somebody that could beat that run defense, I think it's Raheem Mostert. And realistically, he only needs one big play to give you a high fantasy ceiling. And so I do think that this could be a really good week for Raheem Mostert. Early in the season, he was getting breakaway runs and he was getting a lot of carries and a lot of touches. And I do think that he could continue doing that. And I expect a really big week out of Raheem Mostert this week. My prediction is that he'll finish as a top 5 running back this week. So, I mean, Raheem Mostert, we saw he hasn't played because of the high ankle sprain. He didn't play for 5 weeks. And so we didn't really see a whole lot of Raheem Mostert. And then since he's been back, he's had 16, and last week he had 9 carries. So I do think this offense is still getting used to having Raheem Mostert back. So I do think that this could be a really big week for Raheem Mostert. And they're going to realize that he's their best back again this week in fantasy. Now, before you guys click away from this video, you got to hear me out. For my wide receiver prediction, I have Corey Davis finishing as a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy. I mean, okay, Corey Davis, right? Has been pretty solid this year. A.J. Brown was hurt in the beginning of the season, so Corey Davis kind of just had to step into that role. And I mean, people were probably like, well, Corey Davis is pretty inconsistent when Jonnu Smith plays. And you could say the same thing with Jonnu Smith, where when Corey Davis plays, Jonnu Smith's pretty inconsistent. And I would say that most people think that Corey Davis is a third option on this offense, which I'm one of those people. I do think that he has the case to be the second option on that offense. I mean, A.J. Brown hasn't really done a whole lot last couple weeks. He's a big play guy, and that's definitely needed in that offense, but I wouldn't say he's done anything significantly better than Corey Davis has this year other than the big plays. And, I mean, Corey Davis last week had 12 targets, 11 catches for 182 yards and a touchdown. Yeah. Corey Davis finished in the top 5 wide receivers last week. I do think that Corey Davis could do that again this week. I mean, realistically, he's been pretty consistent. He plays as if he is their third option. I mean, teams have to worry about Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown more than they have to worry about Corey Davis. At least that's what they think. And so Corey Davis doesn't get double teamed, and Corey Davis doesn't have the box stacked against him like Derrick Henry does. And so, I think that Corey Davis could have a really big week this week. I have him finishing as a top 10 wide receiver prediction. I don't have him finishing as a top 10 wide receiver. That's my prediction, is that he will. But I think this could be a really, really good week for Corey Davis. I tend to not get my tight end predictions right. I've gotten one right so far this year in the last 7 weeks now. And, I don't know if I would trust me 100% on these, but they're not bad tight ends that I'm picking. It's just that they just don't perform as well as I predict that they will. And so this week, I have Rob Gronkowski finishing as a top 5 tight end this week. And in the last 8 weeks he's played, he's been pretty solid. He's had 1 or 2 bad games. That one game where he had 1 catch for 5 yards or whatever it was. But other than that, he's been pretty consistent, and he's one of Tom Brady's favorite guys, which I think is a good thing. And they didn't play last week. They were on a bye. They're going up against Minnesota, who's not amazing against tight ends. And Gronk's coming off of a game where he had 6 for 106, so hopefully he can continue from that game and be one of the top options in this offense. And my bold prediction is that he'll finish as the top 5 tight end this week. And when he had the 106 for 106, he was a top 5 tight end. And so I do think that this could be a really big week. And he's a big touchdown guy. And Tom Brady looks for him in the red zone. So I do think that this could be a really big week for Rob Gronkowski. I also don't really typically get my defensive predictions right. I typically overshoot the defense and say this defense is going to finish in the top as a top defense, or as a top 3 defense, or as a top 2 defense, or they're going to score 15 plus points this week. And so I'm going to lower that down a little bit. I'm going to say top 5 every week pretty much now. And for this defense this week, I picked the Rams. The Rams, last 6 weeks that they've played, where they had a bye in between there, they scored at least 7 plus fantasy points, and that's a really good defense, and I think that streak will continue. And they're going up against the Patriots, who have looked pretty good on offense, not going to lie. And so, they put up 35 points against the Chargers last week. The Chargers just looked really bad. And the Cardinals 2 weeks ago didn't look very good against the Patriots either. But also, they forced turnovers, and so Jared Goff has turned the ball over a lot. And so I do think that the Patriots are going to get close field opportunities. But I think that the Rams defense is going to score 10 plus points again. But also, my prediction is that they'll finish as a top 5 defense again this week. And so, last week they didn't finish as a top 5, but a lot of defenses scored a lot. And the Patriots were one of them. They scored 28 points in fantasy last week. But I do think this could be a really, really good week for the Rams defense. And I have them finishing as a top 5 defense in my bold prediction up against the Patriots. Patriots don't have an amazing offense, so I do think this could be a really good game for the Rams, and I think this could be a really fun game to watch. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new, turn on the post notifications so you get updates whenever I post. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Peace.